Hey everyone, I'm so excited to be here as the March designer for the Bag of the Month Club. A huge thank you for this opportunity. It truly means a lot to share this pattern with you all. This is Pandora Charisma Convertible, the newest addition to the Pandora series. After releasing the Pandora Allure, I was blown away by your support and feedback, and many of you asked for another version, so here it is. This convertible slim bag keeps the same sleek style and functionality while offering even more versatility. It is designed to fit a regular iPad and comes with plenty of storage and thoughtful details, including multiple ways of carry, sling, crossbody, or as a messenger bag. It has spacious compartments, 4 interior pockets, a hidden zipper pocket, and a back zipper, which means you can customize your pockets or even remove the side gusset. This pattern uses the binding method and includes SVG file, projector files for an easy cutting experience. I will walk you through the entire sew along in this tutorial. Also do check out Jenn and Samantha, who also did the Pandora Charisma Convertible sew along. Don't forget to check out our custom made for inspiration. Thank you for being here. I love to see what you will be making. Be sure to tag me at Sewfisticated SG. And let's get started. Hi, welcome back. In this section, I'll guide you through cutting the pattern pieces for the Pandora Charisma Convertible. Let's get started. On page 38 of the pattern instruction, there's a guideline to print your pattern pieces. Be sure that you have a ruler to make sure that you print out your pattern pieces correctly, either a 1 inch or the 3 cm, and you will measure on the outer line. First, we will need to cut on the outer line. You will notice there are a few pattern pieces that you have a double triangle that you need to line up as a diamond. There will be a corresponding labels for you to match it up. C2 to C2 and C3 to C3. So this is quite long. ZC, ZC, and lastly there is a C2. And you will end up with this. Do note on the C2. This is the uppercase C2 and this is a lowercase C2. Make sure you match it up properly. There is another pattern piece that you need to take note, which is PC and PC1. Let's cut out the pattern piece first and I will show you how. So from here, we will connect the triangle to become a diamond. On pattern piece C and C1, they share the same pattern pieces, but with different orientation. Please follow the sophisticated logo orientation if you have a directional print. Like for this piece C, I need to cut one exterior, and this dulapping fabric, I will just place it over and cut it. Likewise, for C1, I need to switch to the sophisticated logo upright, and I will need to cut 2 pieces. This is the only pattern piece that you will need to take note. Sharing one pattern piece but different orientation for directional print. The fabric that I will be using today mainly consists of 4 fabric and 1 stabilizer. This is the Sewfisticated foam. That is 2.7 millimeters from my shop. It's a self-adhesive foam. And these are the lining, a mixture of different color. This is a Sewfisticated 12. This is waterproof. And if you can see, there is a little bit of structure to it, and I do not need to interface. Another lining is this vibrant wool. It is drapier than the Sewfisticated 12. If you can see, this is drapier, but it has the similar weight and also waterproof. So this, I save time in terms of interfacing. This is a flying weave. As you can see, it has a little structure to it. It is non-waterproof, but I just love house too. And I managed to find this treasure when I was in China. This will be introduced to my shop at a later stage. And of course, this vinyl, this is also from my shop. This is a smooth vinyl. I believe it's about 0.7 or 0.8 millimeters thick. So these are the main fabric that I will be using today. So let's get started. Let's go through the pattern pieces that you require. On the pattern instruction, page 4 and 5, there will be a pattern overview for exterior and interior. For this front panel, we will need one piece of zipper pocket exterior, piece A, two pieces of A1 zipper pocket lining, side accent A2, bottom accent A3, piece AA stabilizer, one ZA zipper plus one pull, one Z1 zipper tab. And if you have a logo tag, bring it out as well. This is the back panel. You will need one piece of double A stabilizer, one piece of back panel exterior piece B, two pieces of B1 zipper pocket lining, two pieces of G1 D-ring tabs along with two D-ring, one ZB zipper. In this tutorial, I'll be making the detachable strap, which means I will need to have one G2 D-ring tab along with one D-ring. This is two pieces of this G strap connector tab. If you're making this fixed strap, you will need to have a rectangular ring instead of a D-ring, and you can omit out piece G2 D-ring tab. We are at the zipper gusset now. We need one piece C top panel exterior, two pieces of C1 side panel exterior, one C2 that is a zipper gusset lining, C3 stabilizer, ZC zipper plus two pull, one piece of G1 D-ring tab, and two pieces of D-ring. For the interior, you will need four pieces of piece E main lining, one piece EE stabilizer. This is for the middle panel. Do not use a heavyweight stabilizer, otherwise your final assembly will be very challenging. I'm using this non-adhesive Sewfisticated foam, and you will need this mesh fabric, piece E1, two pieces of E2 slip pocket, two pieces of E4 sleeve pocket for your iPad, and together with the stabilizer, piece E5. Again, I'm using a non-adhesive Sewfisticated foam. Piece F key leash with the swivel caps. Bias tape, I'm using this from my shop. This is about 2.3 millimeters thick. One piece of E6 divider pocket. Two pieces of zipper pocket lining. Piece E3. ZT2 zipper tab. ZE1 zipper plus one pull. Piece H side gusset lining. You'll need two pieces for the back panel compartment and four pieces for the front compartment. Be mindful on the fabric that you choose. Cotton-based fabric using lightweight interfacing only. End of the day, you don't want something that is too bulky, too thick. And let's get started. In the next section, we will start sewing. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Happy sewing! If you do not have a logo tag, you can skip to the next section. For the logo tag, we will place under the zipper pocket exterior, which is piece A. But do bear in mind, this is a hidden pocket. There is no specific placement required for your logo tag, but you just have to ensure that it is positioned at least 2 inches away from the zipper pocket exterior, meaning your zipper pocket will be here. If you are going to put it over here for your side accent, then you need to be at least 2 inches away from here, and 1 3/8 inch away from the top or bottom. So for now, I'm going to place my side accent on the left side, and this will be overlapping. I like to wear my sling bag over my left shoulder, so this zipper pocket should be on the left side. Let's get started. Okay, I'm going to measure this. I like it at the corner here, so I'm going to put it probably about 2 inches away. That would be this. Okay, then in that case, just bear in mind we will be sewing the bottom accent. I'm just going to do 1 3/4 1/4 away. So this is how I will put. If you are using a fabric that will fray, make sure that you put a fray stop glue over. This is another stabilizer that I have been using because it's pretty stiff, if you can see. So from here, I will use the painter's tape to cover so that it will not accidentally scratch the lining. And we are done for this. So we'll go on to the next step. You'll take the zipper tab, place it right side up. This is right side, and this is right side up. So I'm going to put it right side together. Same for the back, right side up, and the zipper wrong side up. The zipper tape is sandwiched in between the two zipper tabs, right side together. And we will go to the sewing machine and sew the two ends with a 3/8 inch. Thereafter, we will turn the zipper tab right side up, top stitch the parameter. Let's go over to the sewing machine now. Mine is a bit out. But it's okay because this side will be covered by the seam allowance. Make sure you already put in your pull. Okay, next we will be taking out your exterior, which is piece A. Depending on which direction that you want to carry your bag, you can customize the zipper opening to be on the left or on the right. For me, I like to carry my bag on my left, so my zipper opening will be on the left, because when this Pandora Charisma sling to the front, the zipper will be facing up if I place on the left side. Make sure the direction of the zipper pull when closed is facing up. We'll mark the center point of the zipper tape and the long edge where your zipper will be attached to. So we'll put right side together. Ensure that the zipper pull close is facing up. And we will sew with a 1/8 inch. Double check again. Take your zipper pocket lining, piece A1, right side. Let me check the right side. Okay, right side, it actually repel. Right side together with the exterior. So basically this one is wrong side up, right side down, right side up. And we will sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we'll snip off the corner to reduce the layers. Open it up. You can flatten it or iron it if you are using the cotton base. I use this scraper to flatten it. Now we will only top stitch the lining without the exterior with a 1/8 inch. Okay, you will see something like this. Next, take the remaining piece A1. We flip this to the lining side, right side down, together with the zipper tape. So you will see this right side down, right side up, right side together. And right now we are going to baste this with a 1/8 inch. Once done, we will take the piece A2. This is the side accent. So if you are doing a zipper close on the right, then it will be on this side. So for this, right side down, we will line up together with the zipper tape. And we will sew with a 1/4 inch. We'll snip off the corners. And we will flatten it up. Now we will top stitch with a 1/8 inch. We did the marking and we are going to fold into the marking. Before we top stitch it, we just have to double check that everything is right. You take out your A2, which is your bottom accent, and make sure that the alignment is correct. If you can see, the width matches it. So we are going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch. Ensure that this is not attached to the side accent. Once done, double check again. All is good. I haven't sewed this one shut, so I'm going to do that. My apology. So if you have not closed your lining, make sure you close it now. I can see from this side, so I'm going to just sew it over here. But if you can't see, then you might want to trim off the excess first. So make sure it's flat. Okay, I'm going to trim it off. And from here, we are going to sew the top and the bottom edge so that the zipper pocket is shut. This is your zipper pocket, and this is how the back it will look. Okay, next we will take the bottom accent, which is the A2. So we are going to place it right side together. If you are 100% sure about your cutting, you can sew with a 3/8 inch because it will fit the lining piece perfectly. But feedback from the tester is always good to have some allowance. So we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if there's any excess, we can always trim it down. More is better than less. Okay, let's sew with a 1/4 inch. And we will snip off the corners. We'll check against the back panel piece and make sure that the height is the same or more. Right now it's more, so there is no issue. Let's go ahead and top stitch with a 1/8 inch. The seam allowance should be under the bottom accent. Always stand by a hem jumper because over here there will be a slight uneven layers. So to prevent any skip stitches, it's good to have a hem jumper standby. Okay, it's done. So right now your front panel zipper pocket is already done, and this is the hidden pocket. We will trim this later. Let's proceed to the back panel assembly. Right now we are on step 8 to do the D-ring tabs. So if you are making the detachable style, take the piece G2 also. You can use a double-sided tape or just simply fold and sew, because this is a small piece, so we will save our precious double-sided tape. I'll find the center line and fold it, and I will just top stitch along the two long edge. Repeat the same for the other two. There you go, you have a pre-D-ring tab. Put the two pieces of G1 first away. This we'll focus on this. Take out your D-ring and we will baste it. Now we are ready to do the strap connector. Determine which one is facing on the right. This will be my facing right. So I'm going to mark a center point. So I will place this, and we are going to sew with a 1 inch overhang. And next we take the remaining piece of piece G, and we're going to place it right side together. Leave this bottom edge unsewn. So we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Do not trim off the D-ring, because this is going to be the, we are going to insert the rivet. So this will help to secure. So we are going to trim off the side. Turn it right side out. Take a chopstick or a turning tool to poke out the side here. You want to flatten it as much as you can. Then from here, we are going to top stitch the whole perimeter with a 1/8 inch. My top stitch wasn't the best, but it's okay. This is the back. It can't be seen, so it's alright. As long as the front looks okay. So we'll put this aside first. In this pattern, there will be a 2 option. One is this attached strap using a rectangular ring, or we are using this release buckle. It's a similar concept, except that we, instead of sewing a D-ring tab, we are going to use the webbing. You will cut a 4 inch of webbing and put in your rectangular ring or your release buckle, and the sewing process is the same for this D-ring. That is covered on page 13, step 11. Next will be back panel exterior, ZB zipper, and 2 pieces of B1 zipper pocket lining. Okay, we'll mark a center point on one of the lining. On the wrong side of the zipper pocket lining, piece B1, you'll find the center point, and you measure 1 3/8 inch from either side of the pocket lining. It doesn't matter. And you draw a zipper box, which is 6, 7, 8 inch with a 1/2 inch wide. Once you've done it, we will take out the back panel exterior. If you like to carry your bag on the left, your back zipper pocket should be on the right. Likewise, if you like to carry the bag on the right shoulder, then your zipper pocket opening should be on the left. So when you put it in front, it will be facing you. For me, I like to carry on my left, so I'm going to place the zipper pocket opening on the right. On your back panel exterior, mark a 1 inch from the top, line the top edge of the zipper pocket lining below the placement, and the distance between the end of the zipper box towards the bottom edge should be 3 3/8 inch, which is 8.5 cm. Right now, we are going to sew along the two long edges of the zipper box. Use a smaller stitch length. Draw an inverted triangle on both sides, about half an inch or so. Then we are going to use a seam ripper to cut the slit. It will be easier. We are going to use the scissors to cut the center line and also the V. Be careful not to cut into any stitches. Okay, and we are going to turn the whole thing around. But first, I'm going to just flatten it. Use a finger to actually gently press it. If you're using a cotton-based fabric, you can go and iron it. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do an understitch. Understitching with the lining and the exterior within the seam allowance. That will help to keep this more flat. So we are going to sew it close to the end, not close to the stitches. The stitches will not be seen after we sewed on the zipper. So you can see the difference. With this, you hardly can see the lining. And we repeat the same for the other side. And from here, if you can see, you hardly can really see the lining inside compared to earlier. This is another option. Take a ZB zipper with a pull inside and a double-sided tape. Ensure you cinch the zipper end with a lighter so that it doesn't fray. Okay, then we take out the zipper tape. Remove the DST backing, and we're going to place it on top. Take your time to make sure that you are happy with the alignment. Remember, this is at the back. Nobody really can see it, so don't stress yourself about it if you can't get it straight the first time. Now I'm going to top stitch the zipper box parameter with a 1/8 inch. I will not do back stitch for this zipper box. Instead, I will pull the thread over to the wrong side and tie a knot. It will look nicer on the exterior. So what you need to do is leave amount of the top and the bottom thread, at least about 2-3 inches, so that it's easier for you. So I'm going to top stitch now. Now this side can be seen. Let me see if I can push it in. Yeah. Okay. I will use a hem jumper because of the zipper tape in front, zipper teeth in front. I'm going to stop at where I started. Did I get it? I think so. Remember, no back stitching. Okay, so I'm going to pull knot over. I was very close. Ideally, you should be a little bit more. You should have 4 threads at the back. Let's check. It looks good. I'm happy with it. This corner could be better. But put it this way, at the back, nobody is going to see the zip pocket, especially if you are going to wear over your back. So don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, and the first lining is done. We are going to do the second lining, which is you turn to your back and take the remaining piece, one. Again, find out where is the wrong side. This is the wrong side, as you can see from the watermarks. So I'm going to just align it right side together. Once you put the pocket right side together, turn the fabric right side up, and we are going to sew with a 3/4 inch to close the pocket opening. Zipper pocket is closed, and we are going to trim off the lining. And we are done here for this. We are on step 16 now to do the strap connector and the D-ring tabs. Before we go ahead, check on your stabilizer. If you are using a fusible stabilizer, which is recommended to put it on the main lining, then you will need to fuse 2 strap stabilizer along this area, because we will be sewing this on the right side. So you want something that is able to hold it. You can refer to page 7 of the pattern instruction for further information on stabilizer. If you are using the sew-in foam such as Bionic Soft and Stable, paste the foam now, or you can actually slip it in later. The rule of thumb is, if you do not have any stabilizer on your exterior, cut 2 pieces of piece G1, which is the D-ring tab, and fuse it over here. For this, I'm using a Sewfisticated foam. This is a 2.7 millimeters. So I'm going to adhere to the back panel first before I attach the D-ring tab. So I will just use a scraper and to flatten it. And you take out your pattern piece. There are markings on the side. I learned this from Jenn. I saw her tutorial, which is very useful. What she did is she cut a slit at the marking, and I'm just going to mark over here and mark over here. That is the marking for the D-ring tab to be over. So I will flip over on this. Make sure I did it right. Now we will be doing the D-ring tab. Mark the center point of the D-ring tab, and from here, from the center point, we will mark 3/8 inch, which is 1 cm on both sides, on the right side up. Because this will be the stitch line that we will sew later. Yeah, get it right? Onto the back panel. Once again, mark the center point and we will mark a 3/8 inch on both sides, on the right side. And on the wrong side, we will apply 3/4 inch DST on both sides. You do not want to apply on the mark line. So this is how we will do. So from here, you place it at the mark line. Ensure that both ends cover the exterior. You should have a slight overhang. Remember to slide in your D-ring to the center. I use a white chalker. Hope that you can see better. So from here, you should have a clearance about 1 inch from the bottom edge of the exterior. We'll repeat on the other side. Okay, remember your D-ring. You got to slide it. You should have the same amount of overhang at the side. And measure here, there should be only about 1 inch. Yep, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it also. We'll go to the sewing machine now and top stitch the D-ring tab. Follow the earlier stitches and across on the other side and down again. So we will do on both sides. You might want to change out to your zipper foot or your slim footer so that it's easier when you get through the D-ring. See, when I reach here, I'll pivot and I'll turn it over. You might want to stand by a scrap piece of fabric. I'm using my webbing now since I have it here so that you can cover your hardware. This is how it will look like, and at the back. For those that who wonder whether this Sewfisticated foam will gum your needle, the response from my buyers has been very good. So far, there are a lot of repeat customers, so there is no issue for my machine. Before we proceed, make sure your D-ring is back to the marking. The D-ring is secure. This is how it looks at the back. So we will trim off the side. We'll repeat the same thing on the other D-ring tab. Again, check your D-ring is already in. Everything is secure. For the first start, you can actually push your D-ring away. I have a skip stitch earlier. I forgot to pivot it around, but it's okay. Nobody really can see it, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Put the D-ring back. This was where I skip stitch. So this is how it would be. And you are done with your D-ring tab. Now we are at step 19. So we will do the rivet press now. Mark 3/8 inch away from the top stitch line. I'm going to just eyeball it. And over here, minimum at least 1 rivet. If you have extra, you can actually put 2 rivet or you can put 2 space. I'm going to just do 2, 1 top and 1 bottom. When you use the hole puncher, just be careful on the hole because sometimes the number runs like for this. So I just need to make sure that I use the smallest, which is 2 millimeters. I'm going to just punch it over. sorry, we will need 4. So I'm just again I'm going to eyeball it with a 3/8 difference, 3/8-inch difference. I will do an off-screen rivet installation on my table press, and I will be right back. We are done with the rivet. As you can see, I already riveted it. So right now we are going to line up the side connector and the back panel top edge, center point to center point. If you are using different fabric for the side connector, decide which will be facing the front. Once your back is completed, this part will be seen. So it depends on which fabric you would like to showcase. We'll go to sewing machine now and baste this. We are all done with the back panel, and you can put this aside first. Right now we are at step 20, side gusset. As mentioned earlier, do not use vinyl or thick fabric. Even cotton-based fabric, if you fuse with interfacing, it can be thick. So be mindful of which that you are going to use. Do a bulk test on your sewing machine. It is covered on page 6. This fabric is from my shop, Vibrant Wool. It is very similar to a cotton woven with lightweight interfacing, but this is waterproof. Right now I need to check which side is waterproof, which I should have made the marking earlier. As you can see, the water repel, so this is waterproof. I'm going to face the waterproof right side up so that I can see. Some color is pretty obvious, such as this. The right side is lighter color and the wrong side is darker color. I'm not too sure whether can you see, but on my side I can see. I show you this. This is the wrong side. It will have this watermark stain. It's water resistant, but it's not waterproof. So let me wipe off. As you can see on the right side, I'm not too sure how well it shows on the screen. Okay, but let's get the right side correct. You take one gusset first to fold it right side together. And we are going to sew with a 3/8-inch at the short edge. We'll need another piece for the back gusset. So we will right side together, sew with a 3/8. We'll trim the SA. If you have pinking shear, you can actually use that also. We'll turn the gusset lining right side out, flatten the edges. And we are going to baste the whole perimeter with a 1/8-inch. Once done, we will fold into half. We are going to top stitch only this side, which is the folded edge, with a 1/8-inch. Then we will do the same for another gusset. Again, fold it into half. Okay, so in total, we will have 2 folded side gusset for the back panel. We'll put this aside first, or we continue for the other 4 gusset lining, which has a different way of sewing. We'll take one side gusset lining, fold the short edge right side together, flatten it, and for the remaining 4 side gusset, we're going to sew the bottom short edge with a 3/8, followed by another 1 long edge. We will leave 1 long edge unsewn. For this, I like to use my pinking shear to trim down. Then the fabric right side out. I also like to trim a little bit so that the corner here will look better. When I use a chopstick to smooth out the corners, we are going to sew the top and the bottom along with the raw edges. Do not sew on this side where the seams are joined. This is what you will get. So the raw edges you need to sew together. Only leave the joint seam that we sewed earlier unsewn. We will repeat for the other 3 gusset. Our 4-side gusset lining for the front compartment already done. So we will put this aside first. Next, take out your key leash, piece F. We will mark 3/4 inch on the short leash and also along the long edges. You will need to mark on the wrong side of the fabric. Oh, sorry, I marked the wrong side. I marked half an inch. It should be 3/4 inch. We will place the double-sided tape along the long edges. I like to trim off the corner also so that it's easier to line up. And we will fold to the 3/4 inch line, just like this. And we will continue on the long edges. Line up to the 3/4 inch. Okay, from here, again, you can put a double-sided tape or simply just fold it, which I'm going to do that to save on the double-sided. Just make sure the folds here will hide nicely. And slide in onto the folded edge. We're going to top stitch the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. This is how it looks. You can install a rivet just above the top stitch line. This is optional. So I'm just going to leave this aside first, and we are going to do the slip pocket. Okay, right now we are at the slip pocket. So we will need to take 2 pieces of piece E2 slip pocket lining. And we are going to place them right side together. And I'm just going to sew the top edges with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, we trim the corners. We'll flatten the seam. And we'll turn the fabric right side up. And we're just going to top stitch. Okay. I didn't line up properly, but it's alright. It will be covered by the seam allowance. And take out your main lining, which is piece E. Mark the 4 corners center point. And we're just going to match the bottom. And we're going to turn it around and baste the 2 long edge and the bottom edge. And from here, we're going to trim the corners. Take your key leash and place at least one inch away. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm just going to place the joint seam inside. And your front compartment lining with slip pocket is now done. We'll put this aside. Now we are into the mesh pocket. We'll take the zipper tab, fold it into half, same as what we did earlier on the front zipper pocket, and we will fold it again. So you'll cut equally into 4 pieces. Make sure you get the right zipper tape. This is a ZE zipper. Again, right side together. This will be right side down, zipper, right side up. And on the back, wrong side up. So this will be right side down. The zipper tape is sandwiched in between the zipper tab, right side together. And we'll go to the sewing machine and sew with a 3/8 inch. Once done, we will flip it to the right side and top stitch the parameter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, we'll put this one aside first while we do the mesh fabric. There's a wrong side and the right side. The right side usually feels smoother, but it is only you can only tell from the touch. So right now I'm going to go ahead on my cutting mat. I'm going to trim down 6 cm, which is 2 3/8 inch from the top. Okay, I already cut 2 3/8 inch down, and you will need to get your bias tape and your DST. Let me show you. You can either place a DST on your bias tape or your mesh fabric. There is no difference. You can do it on either. So I'm going to just put it on my bias tape now, because it's easier to show you. Okay. Again, check out which one is a smooth. This is my smooth. So I'm just going to place it on one edge first to cover it. Okay, and we are going to fold it. Just double check that it is at the center, that you can cover the back bias tape. And the mesh that you're using, there are many different in the market. This is from my shop, Sewfisticated mesh. As you can see, this is not stretchy, not the kind of laundry bag that you find. Okay, and there are two. You want the stretch to be horizontal and not vertical. So you see my vertical, I am pulling really very hard, and it doesn't. Okay, this one is the maximum also. So this is how you cut your mesh. Horizontal stretch, but not vertical. We'll repeat the same for here. And if you do have a label tag, you might put it at least 1 inch away. You can put a double-sided tape again. Take your ZE1 zipper, put a DST on the long edges. Depending on how you want your zipper pull to open, if you want it to open from the left to right, then you will place a zipper close on the left. Likewise, if you want to open from your right to left, you will place a zipper close on your right. I'm a right-hander, I like to do this, so I'm going to place the zipper close towards the left. Okay, so I like to place this to the midpoint of the zipper tape. The midpoint I'm referring to is between the tip and the raw edge, which is about 1/4 inch difference. Check that you're happy with it. We'll repeat the same. Make sure it's all aligned and you're happy with what you see. Now we'll go to the sewing machine and we are going to sew 2 rows of stitches, 1/8 inch apart from each other on both bias tape. We will trim. Okay, your mesh fabric is now done. Take your main lining piece, E, and place on the right side up. Place this mesh pocket right side up too. Okay, there will be a slight overhang at the bottom. What I like to do is I'm going to turn it around and baste it. After that, I will trim it away. Now this mesh pocket is done. We are going to take our front compartment gusset. Remember, we sewed the 4 pieces, so we're going to take 2 pieces and going to place the raw edges at the side. On your pattern piece, there will be a marking there. So what I do is either you can use your ruler or you can just use this to mark. Do remember there are 2 markings. One is the front and one is the back. Front panels, front panel side gusset, and there is also this back. So I'm going to place this side gusset here, raw edges against the raw edges, above the mark line. And we are going to baste this together. Front compartment lining with mesh pocket is now done. We'll put this aside first. We are on step 28. This is the back panel. That is the sleeve pocket. It is recommended to put a foam. You do not want to use too thick foam as well. So this is a 1.5 millimeters. The way the back is designed is already pretty compact inside, so there is still a protection over. This is just for a peace of mind. We'll put the lining aside first. Again, find the right side. We put them right side together, and we're going to sew the top edge as what we did on the slip pocket on the front compartment. You sew with a 1/4 inch. Flatten the seam before we turn the fabric right side out. Oh, my apology. Because we need to leave a gap at the bottom, so we need to sew the bottom edge with a 1/4 inch. Turn the fabric right side out. We place the foam in between the fabric, then we will top stitch. Sorry, my here there's some background, music background for my neighbor, so if you can hear, I apologize. The sleeve pocket is now done. We'll take the lining, piece E. Make sure you mark the center point. We're going to mark the 2 markings. One is the sleeve pocket and one is the side gusset, because thereafter we need to put our side gusset. I should cut in between. Let me take. I never thought of doing that. This I saw Jenn, my Sewfisticated group moderator, and she did that, and I find it's brilliant. I don't know why. I haven't thought of that. Okay. And same here, we are going to do it. Just going to do the marking. Oh, this video tutorial has another 2 person doing, which both of them are my moderator for Sewfisticated group. Please go and support them. They are wonderful. Without them, I think I will really collapse with exhaustion. When I was down, both of them were there. Okay, let's get back to here. So over here, you mentioned here sleeve pocket is 1¼ inch at the top. Okay, so the other marking is actually not really applicable. As I mentioned, it has been a while since I sold this. 2 months, 3 months. This was ready back in November. We are going to baste it. Take out your pattern piece and mark. This is 3½ inch. No, sorry, 3.5 cm and 1�38 inch, which happen to be also the top stitch area. Yeah. Okay, so we will take this. Take a pattern piece and mark, or use a ruler to mark 1�38 inch from the bottom. We are on step 30, zipper pocket. For now, we will need to have 1 piece E3 zipper pocket lining and the main lining, which is piece E. I already draw the zipper box. The method is similar as what we had did earlier for the back panel zipper. You will need to draw 6¼ inch by ½ inch tall, and the gap between the top edge of the lining to the zipper box is 1 inch. I have already also marked here on your lining, you need to have a 1 inch. So in total, from the top edge of the main piece lining to the zipper box is 2 inches. Remember to draw your zipper box. This is on the wrong side. So we are placing this right side and right side together. And we are going to sew the 2 lines only. I don't mind a little bit peekaboo from the lining. I feel that it adds to the element. So once you're happy with this one, we'll take the zipper out. Again, we will place the double-sided tape on the zipper. Okay, we will remove the zipper, the double-sided tape backing. You can do 1 at a time or 2 at one time. I like my pull to open from left to right, so I'm just going to do the close towards the left. Make sure we center it. Then you have enough zipper on both ends. And we are going to top stitch the parameter with a 1/8 inch. I will not be reversing the stitch. I will pull the stitches from the back so that from the front it has a nicer finishing. Check that you're happy with it. Take the remaining zipper pocket lining, piece E3, and put the lining, and we are going to place right side together. Right side down, right side up. And we are going to sew the 3/4 inch seam allowance around the perimeter. So right now we are going to trim. And your zipper pocket is done. We are going to do our 3D pocket. Hold the divider pocket lining on the long edge. On the top edge, we are going to mark at least 4 inches wide. And now we are going to the sewing machine to sew two sides. Leave the top edge unsewn. So I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch pivot, 1/4 inch pivot, and I'm going to end it with a stitches here, because it will be easier for you to line it up later with the L stitches. Repeat for this side. It was mentioned in the pattern instruction to avoid using fabric that is thick. WPC, waterproof canvas with PVC coating or cotton woven fabric, please interface with a lightweight. Later when we create the 3D pocket, it can get bulky. Okay, I'm just going to trim the corner. Take a chopstick for your turning tool to smooth out the corner. This is where I'm saying that the L stitches, it will help to naturally create the fold mark for us. We'll top stitch at the top edge so we can close this gap. We are done with this. Let's do some measurement first. We are going to measure 2 3/8 inch from the short edge, from the top and the bottom, and we are going to draw a line, which is equivalent to a 7 cm. And from here, you will draw a line down with a fabric pen. And over at this lining, you will need to measure 3/4 inch on both long edge and 1 3/8 inch from the bottom to place your slip pocket. Make sure you line it up above the 1 3/8 inch and the 3/4 inch on the side. Let's do one side first. You will place this 3/4 inch away from the long edge. And once done, we will do the other side. I made a mistake earlier. You will need to move the pocket lining out of the sewing area first before we stitch down the divider pocket. So I already unstitched and I'm going to re-sew the slip pocket. Okay, one side is done, so you'll focus on the other side now. Okay, first, remember to put a pincer stick over here. I have apparently forgotten twice. One on this side and the other on this side. Okay, let's do it properly. I already unstitched. So as a reminder, please put a pincer stick over your main lining and the zipper pocket lining. And now we are going to align this. First, we're going to make sure we align it properly to the marking 1 3/8 inch from the bottom, which is 3.5 cm. Line up. Okay, And we are going to sew this flat. Just put the fold just before the top stitch line so that you can avoid bulk. You don't want to put everything right at the corner. Remember to back stitch. Okay, lastly, we are going to sew the middle line. I like to start from the base to the top and back to the bottom again. I just like to have a double protection. Okay, this time it should be right. Let's check now. So your 3D pocket, your slip pocket is now done. That is your zipper. Well done. We have already completed all the compartment, which is the 4 pieces of interior compartment and 2 exterior, the front and the back exterior. Before we take a break, let's assemble the exterior and interior panels first. I promise you this is a short one. First, we'll do the middle panel, which is the zipper divider pocket, your slip pocket with the key leash, and your lightweight stabilizer. You don't want something that is too stiff, as it will pose a challenge when we do the zipper gusset. So again, I'm using this Sewfisticated foam. This is non-adhesive, so I'm going to place this in between the lines. Basically, you need to see this slip pocket with key leash right side up and this zipper pocket right side down with the stabilizer in between. Once you've done that, we place this aside first and take the other 2 linings to line up. Now we have front panel, stabilizer, which I'm using this Sewfisticated foam, and the mesh pocket lining. Just since I'm using this Sewfisticated foam lining, I will just adhere it to the exterior. The reason being, because we do have zipper, hardware, and uneven layers, so for you to fuse it over, the tendency of having wrinkles is very high. So in the pattern instruction, I did mention if you are going to use a decor light or heavy, fuse it on the lining. So for now, I'm going to just adhere it. If you are using Peltex or by any soft and stable that you are not basting it, you can do the same thing as what we did earlier for the middle panel, sandwich in between the fabric. Remember I was saying about this fabric being longer? So when I do this Sewfisticated foam, I have to be mindful and I will just put at the top here, just knowing that I will trim off a little at the bottom. So I'm going to just use my hand to flatten it first. And make sure my lining here inside is flat. You can see if there's a bubble, because it's a self-adhesive foam, I just use my scraper to make it flat. Okay, from here, we are going to put this wrong side together. We'll match the top first, because we are going to trim down the bottom. Okay, so later in the sewing machine, I'm going to base it with the mesh pocket facing up so that I know where should I base it. And from there, I will trim the corners. We have the last panel to do, which is the back panel exterior and the sleeve pocket. Same thing, we are going to put it wrong side together. Take your masking tape And make sure you put this gusset out of the sewing area. So we have 3 panels, the back panel, and the front panel, and the middle panel. So we are going to base all the fabric together with a 1/8 inch. So your back panel, front panel, and the middle panel is all done. We'll put this aside and we will start doing our zipper gusset. Right now we are at the zipper gusset assembly, so you will need to do the D-ring. We'll put the rest aside first. Make sure you have your full D-ring available. Same as earlier, we will mark the center line and we will fold the long edge to meet the center line and top stitch the parameter. Fold your D-ring tab into half and cut half. So from here, we'll slide in the D-ring and baste it. When this is done, we'll take 2 pieces of C1. This is the zipper gusset exterior. There will be 2 pieces. And take note, if your zipper gusset has orientation, make sure it's upright and the D-ring tab is placed on the top. And we are going to sew with a 5/8 inch overhand. Or you can also sew the D-ring on the top zipper exterior, which is PC. Both ways works the same. Okay, we'll put one away first and take out your zipper gusset exterior PC. So we are going to place this right side together. And we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. We're going to trim off the corners. Check that you're satisfied first before we go ahead to join the other zipper gusset, PC1 to PC. Turn the fabric right side out with the D-ring facing towards the PC zipper gusset exterior. So this is how it will look. So we are going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch. Before we put the rivet in, we are going to place the stabilizer. And make sure your exterior line up with your lining piece. Let's do a check first. It's okay to be longer as you can cut down. the image perfectly. Again, I'm using this Sewfisticated foam. This is 2.7, equivalent to Peltex. I'll be coming 3 millimeters instead of 2.7 soon. Okay, so we'll place it in the center. Again, if you have a fusible fusible stabilizer, fuse it on the lining instead, since we have hardware here. So I'm going to scrape it. See? So for now, I'm going to mark, probably eyeball it, maybe I would say 1 inch, no sorry, half an inch down from the top of the joint seam. And I will go off screen to secure the rivet. Okay, the rivet is done now. Now we are at step 43, where we need to install the zipper gusset with the zipper. You can take out your zipper pull first, but make sure you put it somewhere that you can see, and you will put it on later. So I'm just going to take it out. If your zipper gusset PC has an orientation, meaning this is facing up, the zipper tape should be at the bottom. So the zipper tape is at the bottom, zipper gusset orientation is facing upright. And we are going to do this right side down. Zipper tape right side down, fabric right side up. So it will be right side together. So we will base with a 1/8 inch. As you sew along, align, always double check that the zipper is aligned. Okay, now it's done. We will do the remaining side gusset. Remember, we still have 2 pieces of side gusset that we have not sewn. You got to mark 2/3/8 inch from the short edges of the zipper gusset, which is, we are talking about 6 cm. This is important, do not miss it. And we will base this, the raw edge against the zipper tape with the short edge facing towards the short edge. This is how it will look like. So we are going to baste it. Next, we are going to take our lining. and place it right side together with the zipper gusset exterior. Right side up, right side down, in between the zipper tape. Okay, and we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We'll turn the fabric right side out. Again, use a scraper to flatten it, or you can go to your ironing board. Make sure the line, make sure that it is flat. This is how it looks. So right now we are going to top stitch a whole parameter with a 1/8 inch. If you have not changed your bobbin thread, it's a good time for you to check now. And from here, I will increase the stitch length to 86 millimeters. But tell you what, I'm going to sew from the lining side. Because sometimes when you sew zipper gusset like this, often the lining can be a little bit tiny shorter. Then if you sew from the exterior, it will just make things even worse. Yeah, I didn't cut this properly, which I'm going to trim it down. Before we forget, let's put in our zipper pull. Make sure you're happy and there is no obvious gap in between them. And we will take out our base. Okay, let's put the stabilizer aside first because I'm using adhesive, self-adhesive foam. If you are using the Peltex, you also put it aside first. But if you are using Decovil Light or heavy, in fact, I'll recommend 2 layers of stabilizer because this is the base and you want the base to be firm, and especially the base is not the thick base, not the white base. So I actually prepared a Peltex and one 2.7 self-adhesive foam only for the main base gusset. This will be for the back gusset and I'm going to put it aside first. Make sure that your zipper gusset is correct. You mark the center point of your zipper gusset. Okay, put the exterior aside first and we'll place the lining on the zipper gusset lining. The base width should match the zipper gusset with the zipper. If any chance that it doesn't match up due to cutting or different size of the zipper tape, do not panic. We will align to the zipper tape. At this, obviously I did not cut very well. I decided to line up against the gusset. Reason being is the difference is really very minimum. So the seam allowance will be able to catch it. If I were to make it flat, it's probably 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters difference. So I'm just going to leave it and line it against the zipper gusset. I'm not going to trim anything. But if you do have a big excess, so you just line up against the zipper tape. We will take your we will take your base exterior right side down. Right side down, right side up. So we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. And you see my exterior fit perfectly. So sometimes the difference is really very minor. You just have to use your best judgment to make the call. As long as the seam allowance are able to cover the difference, is fine. But this is really very, very minimal. I hope that makes sense. So from here, I'm going to trim off the exterior only. Do not cut into the zipper tape, except for the bottom, we will cut both. So this will reduce the layers when we do the final assembly. And we will repeat the same thing on the other end. This will be more challenging when it comes to exterior, but you can do it. Let's go through it. Again, this is easy. Lining right side up, and this base lining right side down. So they are right side together. For this, because since it's long and with the base rather short, we will need to roll it. You need to roll the gusset right side like a dumpling with the right side inside and the exterior on the out. So from here, once you roll it up, you can actually easily connect the edges together. Otherwise, it will be too thick. So from here, we will sew with a 3/8 inch. Let's double check. We'll snip off the exterior first. Okay, we will need to put the stabilizer first. Okay, I have the two stabilizer as mentioned. I'm going to put the Sewfisticated first. And with this Peltex, I'm just going to tuck it under the lining. There's no right or wrong. You can do either side. I think my seam allowance will be too thick, so my seam will be going to be too thick. I just trim it down because I'm doing double, so you might need use a best judgment to adjust accordingly. And right now, we are just going to top stitch the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, we are done with your zipper gusset now. Let's mark while we have it, let's mark the center point. If you're using any silver ink for the vinyl, do note that the pen, the ink does dry out, so make sure you keep it close. Okay, and we will mark the other side too. So now is center to center. The front zipper gusset now is ready for the final assembly. We'll put this aside while we are going to do the last component, which is the back zipper gusset. We are at the zipper gusset assembly for the back compartment. We are on step 50. We are going to repeat the same as what we did. Make sure you put in your 2 zipper pull already and use a lighter to cinch the ends. First, we will take the lining. We'll put this aside first. Place the lining right side down, zipper tape wrong side up. We'll base with a 1/8 inch. Once done, we will take the base exterior, which is piece DD. We'll place it right side down and zipper tape right side up. And we will sew with a 3/8 inch. You can go ahead and trim the corners first, but you only trim the exterior. This is how you will do. And we will do the same on the other end of the zipper tape. Before we go ahead, again, ensure that the zipper pull is already in. And it's not twisted. We'll place this right side down, zipper tape wrong side up. Baste it with a 1/8 inch. Then we'll do on the exterior. This exterior can be tricky because sometimes when you thought that you get it right, but it end up not. So we will do a check. So with the zipper tape right side up and the exterior, we will twist it towards you. We will double check. This is correct. So we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Again, trim the corners for the exterior only. Do not trim into the zipper tape. Now we are going to put the stabilizer. I will gently press it using my hand. We will top stitch around the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. The zipper gusset for the back panel is now done. We are going to mark the midpoint. The zipper gusset for the back panel is now done. Then we will proceed with back panel assembly. There are a few key notes. Mark all the center points before you proceed. Thermostat is very useful for tight areas, or any tools that you find that can help you to maneuver the fabric in tight corners help, as well as the hum jumper. I also changed my needle to size 21 for the final assembly. Let's get started. First, I'm going to match the exterior right side together with the back panel exterior. Unzip your zipper. I'm going to clip on the zippers on the side that I won't be clipping on. So make sure it's right side down together with the exterior. Then I'm going to line up all the center point first. I like to stand by my this thermostat in case I need to maneuver, especially at the corners. Go slow at the corner. My apology, I should have used a different color zipper. I realized that my black and black, it doesn't show so obvious. The pattern is designed in a way for you to not snip into the zipper, but not snip into the zipper tape. But if you do really need to, maybe due to probably cutting or any other reason, remember to use a lighter to cinch the zipper tape. Now let's check. Everything looks good. Okay. You can still see some basting stitch is okay because we just baste it with a 1/8. So once you're happy, we are going to do the binding. I'm using a single fold here. This is from my shop. It's thin and it's strong. So I'm just going to use a single fold. If you want to use a double fold, no issue, but be mindful on the material that you use, including the fabric that you use for your bag, because it can add layers to the whole process and you will find yourself probably even more challenging to finish the binding. And the binding is inside, so don't overstress on how it looks as long as it is secure. What you can do is use the same thread color as your bias tape. That will help in terms of overcritic your own sewing. Now we will unzip the zipper. Again, clip the zipper so that it's not in the way. In the earlier stage when I started sewing, I put a double-sided tape over, or some people even use glue to glue it over, let it dry, and you sew. That is very helpful for a start. But for me, personally, I like to use this compensating foot for my machine. This is a 1/4 inch, which is perfect. So I'm just going to adjust the bias tape as I sew, because this will help to keep it aligned. However, I understand not everybody has it, not an issue. For this, for a single fold, what you do is you will just clip some bias tape or even fold over elastic. It does have a center line already been marked. Mine doesn't have, but it's all right. I'm used to it. So what you do is you cover the bias tape over the raw edges and you clip around the perimeter. Always leave about 2 inches so that you have enough space to maneuver. And I like to double fold my ends for a prettier look. Thermostat and also this any tool for me is a flat screwdriver, because previously I used an awl and I poke right into my fabric. Yeah, I can be very clumsy, so I'm using this flat screwdriver. There's no way I'm going to poke through. I always focus on this distance about 2 inches, so my hand will actually tend to glide in and fold. I know some of you, in fact many people, master the clipping and sewing. I can't. I don't know why. It just didn't work for me. So I find it's easier for me. I tuck in the bias tape and I use my index finger and to press it down, and I will just sew it. Always focus on these 2 inches. I think it's about 2 inches or probably more. The corners is probably the toughest, but it's still manageable. Okay, I'm going to close it, the zipper. You can always shorten your stitch length, but for me it works well with my current stitch length, which is 4.5. I'm going to change it out, the bias tape, to this sand color so that it's easier and on the screen. Sorry for the interruption. So I already unstitched the black bias tape. So I'm going to use this so that it's more obvious on the screen. Like I mentioned, tuck it in. Make sure you have enough bobbin thread. From here, I will just make a fold. When you go to the corner, it's one stitch, a few stitches at one time. So I will cut extra 2 inches. Remember, more is always good. You can always trim down. Again, your zipper pull, make sure it's out of the way. Okay, let's check. Looks good inside. And let's zip it up. Okay, for binding, you might find a little bit challenge zipping up the zipper tape. It is very normal because of the layers, and zipper tape itself is not as flexible. So we will need to flex the corner a little first by the memory foam. Then we will zip it up. Make sure there is no puckles. So let's check also. Looks good. See over here at the side here, for the start it will tend to be a little bit stiff, which is perfectly normal. If you use a double-sided, if you use a double fold bias tape, it can add the challenge of unzipping because you actually add the layers. Like right now, it's so much smoother than earlier, and it will get better. Okay, we are done here now. Make sure you are happy. There's no puckles here. Perfect. And we will go to the next step. Okay, right now we are at step 54, attaching the front zipper gusset to the back panel. Make sure you unzip the zipper for the back panel. For this, you can still remain zipped. It will be easier. We will attach the base of the zipper gusset to the back panel base. Make sure that you attach the base without the zipper tape. So we are looking at here. So we're going to line up right side together. Okay, now we are done. You will see just to double check before we pasting. So exterior with the exterior right side together. And your zipper should be also right side together with the zipper gusset exterior. So we'll go to the sewing machine now and we will base with a 1/8 inch. I like to sew with the lining facing down, meaning the zipper gusset facing up. Sorry, zipper gusset exterior facing up. So you should see the back panel lining here. I'm very happy with this fabric because even up to now the fraying is very minimum. If I do use normal cotton, woven or canvas without any interfacing, it is really going to fray much more. Okay, there shouldn't be any puckle, but you just double check that you cover everything. Okay, once you check you are happy with it, we are going to attach this side gusset. And what you need to do now, where the joint seam, we'll measure 3 1/8 inch down. That is the placement marking for your back panel side gusset. So I'm going to mark a 3 1/8 inch, which is 8 cm, down from the top joint seam. On both sides. Okay, you can remove the interstate. I'm going to line this to the mark line that I did earlier. I got 2 markings here. I just want to double check. I believe that was probably the center point. Yeah, that's correct. Do the same, you see. Just now this was the center point. So make sure you line it properly. And this is what you will see. So we are going to base with a 1/8 inch. Now we are done with the back panel side gusset attached to the zipper gusset. So we are ready for the next step. This step is probably the most challenging for the pattern. The rest is pretty straightforward so far. So just trust the process, go slow, and that's why, and also the importance of not over stabilizing the middle panel and the zipper gusset, because that will make the whole assembly more challenging. However, you can do it. Let's get started. So with the zipper pocket and the sleeve pocket right side together. So this side should be facing up with the key leash. And we are going to line up as what we did earlier. Find the center point. You can use a stapler. This is what you should get. This is the slip pocket for the front compartment. And at the back here, you will see the back panel exterior. just double check that you get it right. The sleeve pocket and the 3D pocket with the zipper. And let's go to the sewing machine now. Right now we are on step 57. There are two methods of sewing the middle panel to the zipper gusset. Again, depend on your sewing machine, your preference, and also the material that you use. You can sew with the back panel facing up, like how we did earlier for the back panel zipper tape. However, for me, I like, especially with the tight corners like this, I like to sew with a loop. It just makes the whole thing more natural. There is no right or wrong way. It depends on your preference and your sewing machine. So I'm going to sew with the loop with the zipper gusset lying down on the sewing machine. You can't see my hand, but my hand is at the back here. I like to use this to help me to align. So when I go to the side, I will just use it to hold it. Okay, let's double check what we have sewn to see whether are you satisfied. We're going to turn it around. First, we're going to check the corners. It looks okay. Let me flip it out. I'm going to zip it up. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You will need to still flex it a little bit. Looks good here. On this side, we will see, and we will need to open up. Let me I think the view is better. So we open up the back. This is what you will see. I need to tidy up some thread first. But this is what you will see here. You will still see some basting stitches. Not an issue because we just basted with a 1/8 earlier. So we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch quarter bias tape. Check on the exterior. Again, this will be covered later along with this. Yep, I'm happy with it and it's looking good. So we are going to bind it like what we did earlier, and we are done with the most challenging part. Let's go to the sewing machine now. Like before, I'm going to use the same method to sew the bias tape. We are almost done. Just another 3 rounds of sewing the panel. Again, use your hand to tuck inside because there is the back panel zipper here. Now should be easier because all the pieces are joined. You just have to go slow. Okay, just now I saw my left hand was pushing this layer in, too much in fact, that it went under. So right now I need to be mindful. You need to be mindful also on how do you push, how do you press your fabric in. So basically, when we go, our hand go in, we just make sure we are not pressing these two layers together. We only need to just press one layer, which is the middle panel. Right here, for example, I'm going to just turn this one, press this one out and press it in. This is how I'm going to do it. Okay. Then from here, I'm going to trim off the excess. Let's see how it looks now. This is what I saw. Check the side. Looks good. Okay. And we are going to zip it up. Remember here, just have to let the back sit more. Sometimes it helps if you stuff things so that it will remember. Looks okay in the inside. I need to tidy up the thread. Okay, there is a slip pocket. This was where I messed up earlier with all the stitches. Thankfully, on the outside, it doesn't show. So, and this bag is for me, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay. Oops. Now, the most complicated process already done. The remaining panel, which is much simpler, like the one that we did for the back panel, which is the front panel to the zipper. And you will be done. So let's take a break first. Hope you have a good break. Right now is into our final assembly on step 59. Mark the center point of the main compartment which we did earlier and the front panel exterior. We will need to align the exterior base to to the front panel bottom, right side together, like what we did earlier on the back panel. This is how it will look, and we'll go to the sewing machine and base the parameter with a 1/8 inch. Let's take a look. Looks good so far. So we are going to do the bias stitch on the next step. Make sure you have enough bobbin thread. Okay, I got to turn the back wrong side out. Forgot to mention, you got to sew with a 1/4 inch. Final review. Oh, I missed this side. So I'm going back to stitch here, which is here. Okay. I'm just going to sew it over because since at the bottom, no one can really see it. Let's see first. Before I do that, let's check. Everything looks perfect, except this. Looks good now. Let's go over to the overhead view. Ta-da! We are almost done. Okay, let's check. Everything looks okay. I'm going to turn the back again, right side out. Turn. You need to still stuff the back overnight, so all this will sit nicer. Okay, I miss a tiny bit there, but it's all right. That's the fire inwards. Choo-choo! We are done, except for the side gusset. Let's check everything to make sure that all is good. Do I need to do anything? Nope. So the last step will be on the side gusset. With your back right side out, we are going to just attach here the side gusset lining together. And we will go to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/8 inch. I like to sew with the front panel facing down because so that the side gusset is flat. So we will top stitch with a 1/8 inch. This area might be a bit tight, so we will need to press down a little bit on the body so that you are able to get it through. For those that who sew on domestic machine, it helps for you to put some books below the back to support the back. Level your sewing machine as much as possible so that you can focus on sewing the gusset without worrying about the back. Okay, let's do the other side. It's done now. This is how it looks without any item yet, and this is the back zipper, and this fits in the Nintendo, which I demonstrated in the packing video. The link is below. iPad sleeve. If things like this happen, that means you can't really zip in. Give some time for the binding to work. You will need to flex in a little bit. By zipping and unzipping multiple times and stuffing your stuff overnight, it helps to ease up the corners. And this, you can always omit out the side gusset to have an open back. And last but not least, we are going to do the strap. For this pattern, I recommend going with a wider webbing because it is just more comfortable to wear, especially if your back gets heavy. On page 32, the pattern offers multiple ways to make the strap. If you are making attached strap with a rectangular ring or a release buckle and using 1-inch swivel hook, you will need to cut one piece of G3 and G4. G4 is the deck of your light. And for all options, all your slider must be the same width as your webbing. If you are making a detachable strap where your webbing and the hardware are the same width, you need not cut these G3 and G4. It is pretty straightforward. You will just need a slider and 2 pieces of silver hook. For this tutorial, I'm going for the detachable strap using the strap connector tab because I'm using a smaller silver hook, and you will need to have 2 1-inch silver hook, 1 slider which is the same size as the webbing, 2 pieces of G3 and G4. G4 is the decovio lights to reinforce the connector tab, and 1 rectangular ring. I cut almost about 8 inches of webbing. You can cut it longer if you like. Let's get started. You slide in the rectangular ring. We'll fold a 3/8 so that we can secure the rectangular ring. And we will sew on the edge. Once you are done, take out the G3 and G4. Make sure you already fuse the G4, which is the decovio light, and you place a double-sided tape on each end. Slide in your silver hook. And I'm going to remove the backing here. This is how we are going to secure the whole thing. And we are going to sew the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Take a piece of scrap fabric or webbing for my case to protect the hardware. Once you've done this, we put this aside first. We repeat the same on the other end, like what we did for this. And we will sew the perimeter like what we did earlier. We are done now on this, and let's take out the slider. Take a slider, slide it in. Take the shorter webbing, slide through the rectangular ring. Move your slider to the center so that it's easier for you to loop it over. This is something that you will need to do. Maybe I remove this so that you can see better. Okay, you will need to see this loop, and we will loop it over and double fold a 3/8 inch to sew the raw edges. You will see a figure 8. And we will double fold this end to the opposite side. Let me secure the clip first and show you. You can see, basically when you loop over, you need to put it opposite end so that you can secure the webbing. You will need to check whether it is slidable. And we will sew the bottom. Usually I will try to sew as close as possible to the slider. Now we will sew this with a 1/8 inch. We are done now. Thank you for sewing along with me. Also check out Samantha and Jenn video tutorial on Pandora Charisma Convertible. In case you are not aware, we do have a Share Your Make Challenge giveaway over at the Sewfisticated Facebook group, whereby any bag sewing with sophisticated patterns stand to win gift cards. And I hope to see you there. Happy sewing!